Hello all, this is James Johnson, aka Sulfurblade, and I am here with a recap of Season 2, Episode 13, Such Sweet Sorrow for Star Trek Discovery. So this episode, if you don't want to watch a lengthy review, can easily be reviewed as about 40 minutes of everyone loving on Burnham. That's the simple review. Review over. But if you want a more in-depth review, I'll continue on. The episode starts off with an image of Sarek and Amanda staring off across the ocean on tropical Star Trek Discovery Vulcan. Star Trek Discovery doesn't seem to understand what a desert planet is, that, Vulcan didn't have any oceans or trees or any of these things that Star Trek Discovery seems to think are on Vulcan, but hey, what do I know? But anyway, that's what we start off with, is some cannon destruction right off the bat. Then we get to start engaging in, well, more annoying personal logs from Michael Burnham. I suppose we've managed to get through enough episodes without having annoying personal logs from Michael Burnham. We have to have annoying personal logs from Michael Burnham in the episode that is completely and totally Michael Burnham centric. Yes, this is the most Michael Burnham centric episode of the season. It's just nonstop, let's love Michael Burnham all episode long. I wanted to shoot myself. So the Enterprise just magically arrives at the Discovery, and instead of beaming people across, with the whole transporter, like has been done in every other Star Trek, and if that's not quick enough, we could use the shuttles. But no, we have to do something that no other Star Trek has ever done. We have to have the ships come alongside of each other and physically dock. Yes, we deploy docking clamps and docking tubes, and the ships are docked and people are walking across through the plastic dockings between the ships. It's all totally rubbish. But I digress. Then we get to a scene where Burnham is talking with Pike, and of course Burnham gets to start the episode off right by questioning the captain's orders to debark the ship. Yes, Pike gives her orders, and of course Burnham can't just simply take orders. She has to debate every section and subsection of orders therein. Blah, 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 blah. So, what have we learned from Star Trek Discovery? Well, the most mutinous person in Star Trek can eventually become a hero by continuing a pattern of disrespect to her chain of command and not following orders. That's what Star Trek Discovery is. Again, I just want to shoot myself sometimes. So we're abandoning the Discovery at this point. The Discovery, which is the ship that's capable of jumping everywhere and anywhere simultaneously, even to alternate dimensions, single-handedly wiped out the Klingons in the Klingon War, but yet these Section 31 ships are going to be a huge problem, so we have to abandon ship. But I digress. The plot hole there is just immense, but we have to abandon ship. And so we are. And Zaru says, all crew is accounted for. And we, of course, are like, all crew are accounted for? Right. Burnham's not leaving that easily. And then, in the very next scene, you see Burnham standing there. She actually did leave the ship. Oh, how they fooled us. On such a minor, insignificant thing. I guess Burnham didn't completely not follow orders after all. Though she did interact with the time crystal and got to see the future, but without the guidance of a timekeeper, you know. So the timekeeper explained to Pike that he could choose the future he sees, or he could adjust it. Well, Burnham, she grabs the time crystal, and there's no timekeeper to tell her whether or not she's going to choose the time that she sees or not. It's just kind of implied that Burnham would never sacrifice. Burnham is always going to attempt to change. So we know Burnham is who she is. She can't accept no, she can't accept defeat. She can't accept anything. She just has to fight everything. And so she's going to fight to change the future. Then number one welcomes the captain back to the Enterprise, and we get a nice little retconning of the holographs, where she goes out of her way to say that holographs will never be seen on the Enterprise again. As we then look at an Enterprise bridge that is nothing like the bridge of the Enterprise. It's completely and utterly foobar. It's 25% different and then some. But we retcommed holographs, so forgive us for completely trashing what the Enterprise looks like. Please, thank you. We got rid of the holograms for you. Then we go through some ceremony as we're going to blow up this Discovery. Pike says, "Eyes front, we will never see another ship like her again." And then the auto-destruct fails. Wait, what? What's going on? So then Enterprise launches photon torpedoes, and they just graze the shield. Now we have come to the conclusion that, oh my god, the sphere data has taken over the ship and is controlling the ship to protect itself. What are we going to do now? We can't destroy Discovery, the ship that's capable of destroying an entire army of Klingons, but yet Section 31 ship seems to be a problem. But I digress. Now we see a flashback from Burnham's eyes of the Discovery basically failing to accomplish any type of mission and Burnham dying. Yes, we get to see Burnham die once again in this episode. So there is one little small time period within this episode that can make everyone smile. This is what, the third death of Burnham this season that we get to watch? But sadly, like all the other deaths, they just don't stick. Because it's a flashback, or a flash forward, however you want to look at it. Now we come to the conclusion that the only place the Discovery is safe from Section 31 is in the future. Dun dun dun. And then we decide, well, we're going to have to make a new time travel suit so that we can somehow take the ship to the future? Wait, how does that work? How do you put a time travel suit around a ship? You can't really, right? No. Just because your captain's wearing the time travel suit, does that make the ship go to the future? No, not really. It makes a person go to the future, right? Not a ship. But yeah, okay, so Discovery is going to go to the future to protect the sphere data. But in actuality, Michael Burnham's going to go to the future to protect the sphere data. So Discovery's not really going to the future to protect the sphere data. We're just a little foggy at this point in time. So now we're making a new suit, which Pike was like, make it to my specifications, and Burnham's like, no, 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 belay that. I'm in charge. I'm Commander Burnham, the Fleet Admiral of Starfleet, and I've decided that it's going to be my specifications because it only makes sense. I have the DNA most closest to my mother, so it's going to be easiest. So you just sit right back down there, Mr. Pike. I'm going to be the hero. And Pike's like, yep, okay. Make it to Burnham specifications. Then Spock, he quickly concludes that obviously all of these signals that we've been seeing are from Michael Burnham. And she's the one making the signals because she's going to be in the suit. Meaning that there's two Red Angels. There's Michael Burnham and her mother. And her mother was only concerned with what we already went through. What her mother was concerned was with saving Michael Burnham. Michael Burnham is concerned with something completely different. These signals. Burnham is the creator of the signals. And thus what Spock has to do with them. Then we get to see just a really wacky line from Rebecca Romaine where number one gets to say the incredible line of, the ship will hit the fan, as she then explains that she took the liberty to upgrade all of Enterprise's shuttlecraft to become new kick-ass tactical shuttles. And so it's not just going to be Enterprise fighting, it's going to be all of her shuttles plus some special super secret tactical whatever that she took the liberty of hijacking. So, more of a fighting chance. You have the super ship Discovery and the Enterprise versus 30 Section 31 ships. I don't know. It seems kind of hands down. We know the Enterprise is badass and saves the universe several times over, and we already saw Star Trek Discovery single-handedly destroy the Klingon fleet. How can they lose, especially if they have this army of freaking shuttlecrafts flying around? I mean, 30 Section 31 ships? Just not impressed. But hey, that's the big baddie. We're in for trouble. Discovery runs to a Class M planet where the newest signal has appeared. And that Class M planet is the home of none other than the Queen of Zahara, Tilly's friend from the short trek before the season started, where she smuggled the Queen off of the ship after the whole galley incident where the Queen evidently has a sweet tooth. And Tilly's all excited because she recognizes the name Zahara and she knows that her friend the queen is the leader of the planet, and everything's great. Then we have a pointless damn it's Hugh moment where they're both trying to get back together, but they both can't get back together, so they both agree to not get back together, and then they both need to move forward, even though neither one of them wants to move forward. They both want to move backward, but it's a metaphor. So cool. Great scene. Way to distract from the plot of everything about Burnham. But I digress. Tilly then welcomes Queen Sahara with ice cream as the captain and Commander Burnham look stupidly on. Queen Zahara runs off the platform and hugs Tilly and is like, "Oh my God, is that what I think it is?" And has some strange conversation about how she can't seem to recreate some version of ice cream. It just turns into goo, and the captain and Commander Burnham are utterly confused because she was on board the Enterprise, but nobody knows because Tilly magically shipped her off the Enterprise without filing any type of report. Totally not Starfleet like, but hey, we'll just sweep that under the rug and keep going. Nobody's gonna ask questions, especially when Queen Sahara then is like, "Hey, you're Tilly's roommate. You look taller in the pictures," and Burnham's like, "What? Roommate? Pictures? How have you seen my pictures? What the hell's going on?" Nobody asks. They just keep going. Then we get the Queen, our magical engineering help, who immediately bonds with Tig Notaro because, you know, one engineer and another engineer must love each other, and they evidently speak engineer because Queen uh, Zahara discovers a way to power the time crystal, but we have to use the spore drive, which means, well, Discovery is just another ship, no spore drive. It's going to be completely offline to power the time crystal, which means Discovery's tactical advantage gone. Would have made more sense to use the spore drive to beat the 30 ships and then take it offline to power said time crystal. But, we don't operate that way. We operate in Star Trek Discovery terms where things just don't make sense. Of course, we discover that the time crystal overload is going to be a one-way trip, so the spore drive is going to overpower the time crystal. And because of such, the time crystal is basically going to only allow Burnham to make the one trip into the future and not be able to come back. Oh, so sad. Burnham trapped in the future. What could possibly go wrong? Then we get to see one of the worst speeches of the season. Of course, it's given by Burnham about how she loves everyone and she's gonna miss everyone and blah 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 blah. Please, editors, why didn't you edit that out? I hate myself. Then Sarek and Amanda mysteriously arrive on the Discovery. We're in the middle of, the Enterprise and the Discovery being chased down to the signal by the evil Section 31, and magically Sarek and Amanda show up on the Discovery because, Katras. And they show up so that they can say goodbye to their daughter in such a touching and heartfelt moment. And so they say goodbye to their daughter, And Burnham's like, "You fixed me. I wouldn't be me if it wasn't for you, because you fixed me." And then Tilly, well, they go away and they leave, and Mikey Spock is sad. Then Tilly shows up and sees Burnham, and the tears start to rush. Tilly's like, "No, no, 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 I'm coming with you." And then next thing you know, half the Discovery bridge crew, including Spock, has decided that they're coming with Burnham to the future. How much space do they think is in this suit that's DNA operated for one person and sequenced to one person's DNA, but yet they're all coming with her? I don't know. I think maybe the crew has been through one too many mushroom jumps. I don't think they're thinking straight. But yeah, they're not willing to let Burnham go because she's their hero and they can't live without him. But of course, Tyler's there, but as everyone else leaves, Tyler then informs Burnham that he's not going with her. The love of her life is not going to go with her. And now she breaks down in tears. Oh my god, and they make out and they kiss and blah 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 blah. Tyler has to make sure that he stays in the gray area so that nothing like this can ever happen to Section 31 again, and that's why he can't go with her. But yet Spock can go with her, and Tilly, and Saru, and all these other people. Head scratching. Now we get an opportunity for Pike to now say goodbye. He's standing on the bridge waiting for the Enterprise to appear, as he's basically telling everyone how much he's gonna miss them, and basically he's giving a pep talk about how great Lieutenant Wojciech is, and how great Lieutenant Detmer is, and how he wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for them, and blah 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 blah, and more blah 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 blah, and then a little more blah 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 blah, and then he beams over to the Enterprise, not after handing the con off to Saru, and bringing up the topic of the captaincy, where Saru then interjects and says, this is not the time to talk about the captaincy. I will take the con for now, but the time to talk about the captaincy is later on. And Pike's like, okay, fine. Because, obviously, Commander Saru wants Mikey Spock to be captain of the Discovery. And so we can't have Saru becoming captain of the Discovery just yet, because that would be harder to make Commander Burnham captain of the Discovery next season, because Commander Burnham needs to be captain because Michael Kurtzman. Because I just need to take a gun to my head and shoot myself. Because why does this show even exist? I don't understand. Now we see Giorgio basically beaming Pike out back to the ship, and Pike says something about, glad to have you with us, and Giorgio, as she's beaming him out, is like, I'm Terran from the alternate universe, and Pike's like, what mirror universe, as he winks. So Giorgio can't seem to keep her classified information to herself, and Pike, he knew it all along. And then we reach the end of this horseshit episode, as all of the section 31 ships come out and surround the Enterprise and the Discovery, just as Tig Notaro locked herself into engineering with the time crystal that's not being charged fast enough, and only Tig Notaro can do something of heroic gallantry that only the most supreme engineer in the universe could possibly pull off to get this time crystal to charge faster, so that Commander Burnham can take the spear data into the future with everybody else. But, we're not going to see that until the next episode. So, this episode is basically a big love fest for Commander Burnham. Lots of people telling Commander Burnham that she's the greatest thing ever. It's Commander Burnham, greatest person ever. All episode ever long. If you're a big fan of Commander Burnham, then this is going to be the greatest episode of the season for you. However, if you're like me and everything about Commander Burnham makes you want to just run to the bathroom and vomit, if the sight of Commander Burnham gives you uncontrollable diarrhea, then you will probably find that this episode, Season 2, Episode 13, Such Sweet Sorrow, is such ravenous poison. It's the worst episode of the year, because it's nothing but torturous use of Commander Burnham to hit you over the head over and over and over again with all the things that you hate about Star Trek Discovery. This is like the Drekkies' revenge upon all of us normal Star Trek lovers. It's like someone said, hey, you know how we can really piss off all the people who are annoyed with all the breaks in canon and really don't like Star Trek Discovery? Well, we will just throw the most Burnham Centric episode ever, where she is the most heroic and noble thing to ever exist in Star Trek universe. We're just going to beat him over the head with Michael Burnham completely over and over again until they lose consciousness. That's what this episode was. This was just torture. This was torture on the most agonizing level. This was such vile poison. Yes. So, episode 13, season 2, such vile poison. That is the new title for this episode. Anyway, I'm James Johnson. This has been my review of this week's episode. If you like my content, please leave a like and subscribe. If you dislike my content, by all means, blast away down below in the comments. Tell me how you love Burnham and how I'm a Burnham hater. I want to hear all about it. And until next week, peace.